Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so decided to do my Laker video on the road. Probably should have did it in the room, probably been a little more focused, but all in all, it's one of those situations where honestly, I feel great, man. I feel great. I woke up this morning having good sleep, did my laundry, or am doing it. It's in the dryer right now. Did my little homework on the Lakers. Did my regular routine, eating, squats, shower, cold shower, same old stuff, man. They still ain't fixed that shower. I don't think they have any intention of doing so. But you know, it's one of those situations where I feel great, man. That playlist I made last night was fantastic. I encourage everybody to check out the Delete City 372. I found a bunch of R&B, modern R&B, slow jams that I really like, man. Just a lot of stuff that just came out that is fire, like legitimate fire in the R&B category. Put it all together, did that, you know, and just prayed a lot. You know, today's my homegirl Kay's birthday. I sent her a text around 12:01. You know, don't expect her to get back to me. She's probably out of the country or somewhere. If I know her, she's celebrating probably in South America and something like that. So it's one of those situations where I just figured I'd hit her up and leave it at that, you know, rather than try calling and all of this stuff. I don't think that that's what we want at this time. And I just prayed. I did a lot of praying. Kept up with what it is I told you guys I was doing in regards to just staying diligent in praying for her instead of reaching out to her as much, you know, and letting God handle the circumstances that are outside of my control while still trying to be that human being that ultimately she knows me to be. Not getting resentful and being all extra just because things aren't necessarily going the way I want it to go in regards to how I feel I should be communicated with or what have you. She's doing what she does. And I think that in this presence of her being herself, she has some things to learn about caring enough for other people. And me being resentful of her not knowing how to, not doing so, may not necessarily inspire that within her. That doesn't mean it's my job to inspire anything within anybody, but at the same time, if you care enough about somebody and you see yourself as older and as a mentor, you got to be able to communicate and show by example how to do things. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm showing her how to be accepting of people's differences, how to be unselfish in what it is you receive. And in doing that, hopefully she will receive that as I pray about it simultaneously. Also, I woke up this morning saying to myself, dignity was a word that came to mind. Dignity. When I was praying about all the different things I was praying about, I said, you know, one of the things I don't want to do is enable her to believe that it's okay to not respect a person's dignity in regards to communicating with them. You know, when the person tells you, hey, I'm not feeling great about this, how things are going, and you only give them but so much try in regards to making things better when you know you're making them feel a certain way that isn't positive, there's a certain level of dignity that they're expected to have in regards to you, to walk away from you or to not accept from you what it is that you're allowing. But if for some reason they don't have that wisdom about them, it then becomes a situation where your dignity's on the line to say, am I going to take advantage of that? Am I going to take their kindness for weakness? And does that reflect poorly upon the dignity that I display? No different than them keeping me in their life to treat them poorly reflects negatively on the dignity that they display. And so that's really what it is that came to mind. It's just like dignity is an inverted thing. A lot of times it's not just about how you're being treated. It's also about how you're being viewed while treating people a certain way. I think about Israel and the dignity that they're lacking in this case, you know, having been gone through what they went through with Germany so many years ago, and now turning around and to turn into who it is that ultimately did whatever to them. It's one of those situations where it's like, yo, where's your dignity and your respect for self? Don't allow yourself to be seen in such a way that the whole world hates you. Don't be allowed to be seen in such a way where people look crazy for supporting you, look like they're corrupt for supporting you. And so that's what came to mind. If you're going to, you know, I asked the Lord to help me maintain my dignity in regards to not only treating Karen with respect, but treating myself with respect in regards to what it is I will allow and put up with and etc. Some of the stuff that she's done, I should have kept my dignity in a way to not allow it to be the case. When you start wanting someone in your life that only treats you poorly, what do you have? some type of syndrome, Stockholm syndrome or something. At some point in time, you look yourself in the mirror and say, yo, for all of what it is that I want this person to be, they're just not that. And I'm not maintaining my dignity by demanding of them to be better, them not doing so, and then me continuing to encourage and enable them to be that for which they are that I don't like. At some point in time, you got to walk away with your dignity and leave them to their character. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. Her character is on the line as it pertains to her reputation in my mind. No different than mine when I wasn't talking to people and leaving them hanging and not responding to texts and things of that nature, putting everything above the respect that was shown to me. If somebody reaches out to you and they use the time to speak to you, what you want to also do is have the dignity of your own last name, so that this could be a reflection upon your character of positivity, that you would at least return the call. And I don't have that strength very often, but it helped me understand last night in that meditation that I need to develop it. When looking at myself, I can't tell you how many times, even a phone call I haven't returned to my boy T. These different things don't reflect positively upon me. And as a result, the Lord continues to show me that my dignity is on the line when I allow myself to be seen as somebody who isn't mature enough and don't respect myself and others enough to reply to them. Your respect for self is not only shown in what you will tolerate, but what it is that you allow yourself to do and be seen doing. And that's what it is. Now I get to walk away from Karen saying, well, this person don't care too much about returning people's calls. She don't care too much about, whatever different things that would come to mind. And that's not going to look positively upon her. That's not going to make people say, oh, that's a stand-up person. No, they're not. They're going to look at that and say, she flaky, she this, she that, and all of that. And it's just, regardless of why it is in her to be that way, regardless of why it is in me to be that way, it ends up being a case of us not upholding our very own self-respect when we allow ourselves to be seen that way. And so for me, it's like dignity, not just in the traditional sense of don't allow people to step all over you, but don't step all over nobody else, so that people won't see you as somebody who needs to be let go of. They talk about people in certain memes and things that you may see online. Lead that person's life if they don't respect you. Lead that person's life. You don't want to be spoken of that way. You don't want to be that person that someone else would be wise for leaving alone. And at this point in time, that's exactly what Karen has left me with. For better or for worse. Regardless of why. And that's on her. As she grows older and matures and starts to want to be seen a certain way, she's going to have to understand that she did that to others, to make it seem as if she wasn't respectful of her own self in regards to responding to people that cared about her. That's a reputation builder. And as somebody who's built that same reputation, it's going to be on me to help her understand in whatever way the Lord will allow, including prayer, for which I'm giving to the Lord, that he would help her learn that lesson, even if it's not the vessel myself giving her that lesson. It's on me to change that within myself if I'm going to be a better example to her. And now granted, I don't do that to her, but I think that speaks to my dignity as well. Who you picking and choosing, who you going to respond to, who you picking and choosing, who you praying for, who you picking and choosing, who you going to allow into your life based on what exactly? Is it that for which they don't treat you right that makes you crave them? And if that's the case, grab yourself and have your dignity about yourself and don't allow that to be the case. And so that's what I was praying for. Not only strength, but tolerance and the discernment from which to tolerate what and what not to. If a person shows you traits that are no good for you, or you don't like, or make you feel uncomfortable, then it's on you to pray for whatever that is that makes you drawn toward them off of you. You got to stop wanting them so that you can start loving you. You got to stop asking for them to be in your life to continue to treat you the same way you don't want to be treated. And in a sense of myself, it was like, well, I want to teach. I'm older. I care about this person, but I know she can grow. But what if she don't grow in them ways? It's going to be me tolerating the same thing and encouraging the same thing and telling her that this is fine when I don't believe that it is, as it pertains to not only is she how she's treating me, but how she would treat someone else if she would do the same thing. It's not right. When I do it, it ain't right. When you do it, it ain't right when she does it. Regardless of how people feel about it, it just don't reflect positively upon your name. When you allow yourself to be seen as somebody who don't care enough to be considerate of others. And so that's what I was telling more or less the Lord I was speaking to last night. It's like, yo, help me be more considerate and help my friend get to a point where she's learning the lessons necessary for her to reflect positively as someone who's more considerate than she's allowed herself to be seen. You know, so that her reputation can be something that she can walk in confidently as it pertains to that. You can have a great heart, but if the practices that you engage in regards to how you treat others reflects poorly upon yourself, at the end of the day, people ain't gonna look at your heart, they're gonna look at your actions. It ain't about what your intentions was, it's how you executed those intentions. And in regards to how she's treated me, someone who cares so much about her, this, that, and the third, I would say that she's fell short. She's fell short, and regardless of why we gotten there or what it actually means, it's incumbent upon her to reflect more positively upon herself. As she's going into a new year of her life, that was what the prayer was this morning, for me to gain my dignity, to not co-sign or enable any otherwise behaviors that need to be matured through, but also not to allow myself to continue to be immature, is to allow myself to want things that otherwise are not good for me. You know what I mean? Stop being so immature is to welcome traits into your life that are not right for your personality. It's a maturity that a person must step into to know, yo, this person, I may love them, but they got ways that ain't gonna mesh well with me, that are gonna create problems for myself, for them, in regards to how we communicate, etc. At some point in time, until they mature, you are irresponsible for welcoming that immaturity into your circumference. And so that's what came to me in meditation last night. It's like, yo, man, I gotta grow up. I don't need to be welcoming immaturity into my life in certain ways that don't make me better. If what she's doing is making me feel worse and it's stumping my growth in regards to my communication, stumping my growth in regards to how I interact with others, stumping my growth in regards to how I view myself when I look in the mirror, saying, you're making a mistake. These are bad things. It shouldn't be a mistake for me to keep you in my heart and life. You know what I mean? I shouldn't look in the mirror and say, you've fallen short as a man for welcoming these characteristics into your life. You've fallen short as a man for wanting this person who doesn't treat you right in your life. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm looking at. It's like, yo, that's where my maturity needs to gain. And you talk about wanting to pick a good wife or a big, having a good support system in your back pocket for somebody, well, not back pocket, but someone who will have your back, rather. Someone who will back you in your play. You can't be welcoming characteristics that don't align with you, your personality. You can't welcome people into your life that don't respect you enough to return your call, to return your text, or at least be as consistent as you asked them to be. That's your immaturity. It ain't just hers and her falling short and being that person. It's yours. And not welcoming somebody in your life that better aligns with who you are and who you want to be and what you want in your life. So it's like, yo, that's where I need to grow up. And if I grow up better, then I could probably be a better version of who I need to be when she does come around. Because I'm not looking at her to fulfill those needs, but more so looking to myself to hold myself to a higher standard to the type of needs that otherwise should be met in my life versus what it is I'm willing to let slide. You feel me? So that's what it really comes down to. Certain things, when you welcome certain folly into your life, when you welcome certain immaturity into your life, especially as a grown man, you're looking for a certain type of woman, or if you're a grown woman looking for a certain type of man, you can't welcome a boy into your life. You can't welcome a little girl into your life, because that's a reflection of your lack of maturity to know who you are and what it is that you can deal with. Someone who's not going to elevate you, someone who's going to make you feel lesser of yourself, so that when you look in the mirror, you wondering, you second guessing yourself about who you've allowed into your life. These are people that don't need to have that role in your life. And so that's what came to me in meditation. It's like for her birthday, I'm asking for a gift for me. And that gift is to mature in a sense, to choose somebody who's got that part of their character in order, because it's one that I prioritize a great deal. Not only because of how I like being treated, but because that is a weakness within myself. And I don't need to double down on that by having somebody showing me a reflection of myself, which feels like karma upon my own head for not doing right by others. At some point in time, I got to stop that, for which looks like karma in my life, and start having somebody around me who's going to encourage me to be better and that way, not continue the same pattern if I were to mock their behavior. You know? And that's what it really comes down to. Never mind why, Because there's good explanations for why she's not around. There's good explanations for why we're not communicating as much. There's good explanations for this or that and the third. And I've already illustrated a lot of those for you. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about who you're going to align with, who you're going to side with, who you think has your back, who you think doesn't, it just comes down to, if you're picking the wrong characteristics within a person just because you want that particular person in your life, and they ain't matured to a space where they can give you what it is that ultimately reflects positively upon you, then you probably immature for leaving them to that role in your life. You know, you probably immature for not leaving them alone, more or less. So that's what I'm here to say all to y'all. That's what came to me last night in meditation, or rather this morning, and I felt a lot stronger about it. You got to pray about certain things. You can't just let people do whatever, be whatever. Be whatever in your life. You got to let God in so he can help you understand where you aren't right for letting them in. And that's what it is. Like, yo, I love this person. I'm going to always love this person. I think she's going to grow through this. I think she's going to go through things that are going to help her grow through this. And I'm praying that the Lord settle her into the same type of training course that he's ultimately set me in, so that I can reach this space of maturity to say these things about myself. You know, and she's not there yet. It's fine that she's not. She's a lot younger than me. And that's part of the circumstance. But, you know, at some point in time, we all got to look in the mirror and say, I'm allowing certain things to happen by way of others and by way of my own behavior. I am allowing negativity to be placed upon me. People who watch me are seeing me welcome this bad behavior or this uncomfortable behavior, whatever it is. People are watching me treat people a certain way, and they're saying what they have to say about it. And you can choose to care about what they say or not, but you can't shake off the fact that is going to be your reputation regardless if you care about what they say or not. You know, a lot of people don't want to be people pleasers. They don't want to put down what makes them happy for the sake of what other people have to say. But what you have to define properly is what ultimately makes you happy. And if you have a bad reputation and people are treating you poorly because of it, then you're not going to be very happy. You can do everything you want to do in a selfish space, and at the end of the day, you ain't going to have too much support. You ain't going to have too many real friends. You ain't going to have a strong support system outside of the family that loves you unconditionally, because you didn't put forth the effort from which people would even want you around or feel responsible for having you around. So how happy are you actually? You know what I mean? How happy are you actually? And that's what it is. I think she needs to learn. It's like, yeah, she's on that from where I'm sitting. I'm going to make me happy over anybody else, because I don't care what anybody else say. And if they have to fall by the wayside in order for that to be the case, that's just what it is, because I'm not going to be a people pleaser. But the problem is you end up making yourself someone that people don't like, and they start treating you a certain way because of it. You become unlikable. You become someone who needs to put up their defenses now, because everybody going to be coming at you with a certain energy that ain't right. And maybe that's the environment she created for herself, which is why she continues to reinforce the distance that she has between people that may do see her in positive lights. But she's going to have to grow out of that to understand that the chicken doesn't come before the egg in this situation. You need to be the one that establishes a likable character within yourself and a positive reflection within yourself, so that you can have people look at you a certain way and say good things about you, so that people can look at you and say that person is worth my time. Though I don't know them very much, they're showing me something that I can work with. Because otherwise they got to overcome and override all of that, forego damn near their entire dignity just to be in your life, only for you to continue to treat them for which is not right. And that's what Kay has left me in that space. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is that I did that didn't reflect as positively upon myself, at the end of the day, I returned all the calls, got nothing but positive things to say about her and to her. But at the end of the day, it's hard to keep saying positive things about her when the reinforcement of behavior is the same as it was when I wasn't happy. She pop up this and that, take advantage of the kindness in place, it seems, by way of her communication being sparing after hearing me express this. And you know, and it's like she keeping a certain level of strength, but what it is just making her very much unlikable. And so that's something that she's gonna have to live with, because I'm pretty sure if she do it to me, she do it to others as well. And eventually it's gonna reach a peak. All the things she's trying to accomplish by being that way are gonna be having stress placed upon those things and how she receives those things based on that environment for which she creates for being unlikable. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm worried about in regards to my friend, and to a point, of course, myself as I grow older. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to just look at me and say, yo, that dude was only about his own thing. He only looked to coddle his own mind and protect his own self, and anybody else's feelings that had to be hurt in order for his feelings to feel good. That's just what it is, because eventually my feelings going to get hurt by the things that people say. My feelings going to be hurt by the way I'm treated because of that. My feelings going to end up getting hurt because people ain't going to be rooting for me when I do successful things. People that I otherwise had that were real in my life ain't going to be there. It's just going to be me and my accomplishments, me and my money. You know what I mean? Because I didn't treat people right. Because I put people second behind whatever my feelings were at the time to make myself feel better. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And for her, she's yet to learn that lesson. And so for me, the lesson I just learned was, don't let people like that have so much of credence in your life. You can love them. You can have them in a role, but they can't be the role of your wife or your girlfriend. You can't want more from them than we're willing to give to you in the first place. So keep your dignity and don't do that to yourself. And not only that, but when they do come back around, don't hesitate to let them know that you care about them, that you appreciate them, but also that you don't appreciate what they did. And it's hard for you to continue to see them the same way if they continue to do that. And if they continue to do it further, they're going to have to go. Just like they making it so that you feel like you got to go. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. I appreciate my friend. Like I said, I'm praying for her. I think she grows through this. I think she's going to go through some real serious stuff that's going to help her understand why she should not want to be this way. I think that that's almost inevitable based on the prayers I've prayed. She's going to have to go through some things to teach her to respect me specifically, but also to respect others and herself even more so. Even more so. You know what I mean? Respect yourself. Stop doing that to your friends. Stop letting your pain be an excuse for why you don't communicate with people when they're reaching out to you with positivity. And don't treat people cold when you've already told them you love them and care for them. That's a trait that's going to make you lose love in life. And the enemy loves that type of stuff. So that's what I have to say about that. It's just lessons learned. I got to work on other elements of my personality as well as I mature as a person. Late bloomer in maturity, obviously, given the fact that I'm going through this at 39. But I know now from where I'm at that I need to welcome more mature characteristics into my life as it pertains to the people that I want to be close to. It can't just be you being however you want to be, and because I feel a certain way about you before I learned all of this, I just want to let you around with all those bad characteristics. No, you're going to have to grow. You're going to have to grow if you want to be in my life. No different than you're going to probably say to me the same thing in certain areas. And so that's really what it is. You know, the prayers keep coming. The love's still there. The friendship will be as strong as she allows it to be. But as far as me continuing to be hell-bent about her being my lady or whatever that energy was, I look at that within myself as nothing but immaturity that I need to grow up from. That's the God's honest truth. And there ain't nobody's fault but hers, truth be told. Although I do take accountability for allowing it to be the case, it's her reflection upon me and how she behaves toward me that ultimately makes me feel like I'm immature for choosing her in any way like that. So that's what has to be said, man. That's what the Lord put in my heart. I've been asking him for strength. Make me stronger. Don't allow me to be walking around this place sad about this girl when she ain't even considering my heart in that way. Or she's not considering my feelings in any way because she's focused more so on taking care of herself. And now that I've shown her that she can do that, she's taking even more so advantage of that. That's a poor trait. That's a crappy human trait. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to allow her to think that that's a good trait to have, she's going to do it to me. She's going to do it to somebody else too. And all it's going to do is make her look bad. That's it. Be better toward the people that you love or that love you. And if you don't love them at all, tell them the truth and do what she's doing. Back away. You know, that's what you do. You don't drag people in to your circumstance for what she's not doing with me. But you don't drag people into your circumstance like that, like the others do, you know, and putting themselves in a position to keep stringing people along. You know what I mean? When you don't have it in you to be good to them or what have you. Have it in yourself to be good to yourself by allowing yourself to be seen better. That's what I'll say. And, you know, consideration's a real thing to strive for. You want to be treated considerate, with consideration, you got to be considerate. You want to be treated as if you are to be respected, you got to be willing to give respect. And if everybody has to earn your respect for you to be basically decent toward them, then you best believe you're not earning their respect in doing so. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. Wow.